Hey guys, Ryobi came out with a new HP 4.5-inch angle grinder. This guy is brushless. It uses the extra pins in the back. It's going to give you more power, but you need to do certain things with it to make sure that you get the best performance and make sure that you are happy with this tool. We're going to walk through the tool, show you my use, show you what you need to use and why you might not want to do certain things with this tool. Stick with us. All right, when you first pick up the new Ryobi grinder, you'll be reminded of some of the Milwaukee traits if you've been using that line before. This tool, as I mentioned earlier, does have the 2 contacts in the back. So as a start, if I were using this tool, I'd make sure that my batteries had these 2 contacts. It's not necessary, but you'll get more power, but there's going to be more to that coming in a minute. So beyond that, simple safety on the paddle switch, very normal, very easy to use, very comfortable as far as the grip goes. The auxiliary handle can go right, left, or center. You do have an arbor lock here. This is so standard for any angle grinder. This nut has a little lever that you can push up. You can loosen it, tighten it, and then from there I usually use the disc anyway to do it. But either way, you have this, and it comes with a wrench, so if you did get it stuck, your wrench would go inside here and you could remove anything you needed to. The guard is what also reminds me of the Milwaukee. You push this lever here and then there's little detents that it will click into place and hold. Very simple to use, very easy. If you switch it all the way around front, pull down, that guard will come off. It also comes with a Type 1 plastic cutting guard that will go over top of this. This plastic actually held up to heat very well. Most guys are gonna take this off, never use it, but I use it because you're supposed to use this while you're cutting. So this will cut or grind, and it's very familiar and very comfortable. So when I first picked up this tool, I thought, yes, it's basically an older model Milwaukee. And it feels that way. It really gives you a nice grip in the back. It's fairly narrow, gets a little thicker up front, but it's easy to hang on to. It's comfortable, and I like it. I like everything I'm seeing. The arbor nut here, similar to what Milwaukee uses. Everything here, the guard, everything feels normal. So I'm thinking, yes, I've got this. I know everything that's going on. I'm gonna go use it. Turned on my Isotune freeze, got some music going. I started cutting along the top of this night deposit box that I'm removing. And while doing so, the music and everything else, I guess, just kind of got to me. And I think I put a little bit too much pressure down while I'm cutting through this less than 1/8 inch steel. It's nothing special as far as steel, but I had some cutouts. So not a big deal. I think I got a little bit frustrated with it because I couldn't hear that I was putting a little too much pressure on the tool, and maybe in my head thinking this was a Milwaukee, I expected a little bit more. Either way, had a few cutouts, not a huge deal. I got to the sides, threw on the auxiliary handle on the sides, and ended up getting a few more cutouts towards the end of the 6 amp hour battery. That's completely normal. When you get to the end of a battery, that's you're gonna get cutouts no matter what's happening. Switched over to their new high performance 4 amp hour battery and continued my cuts until I drained the 4 amp hour battery. And I just wanna say in this, if you're looking for an angle grinder, no matter what brand, they go through batteries like crazy, especially when you're playing in this lower amp hour range. So this tool or any angle grinder is going to go through a lot of batteries. Big thing that I found out that to me, I don't know why I thought this, and if somebody came up to me and said, hey, take a Milwaukee angle grinder that's, you know, gonna normally use a 9 or a 12 amp hour battery and throw a 2 amp hour battery on it and see how it does. I was stuck, I was out of batteries, I needed to cut just a little bit more, threw on this 2 amp hour battery, and this is their high performance model. No bueno, didn't cut it. So No one should be surprised about that. And if you're going to buy this tool, that's what I want to tell you guys. If you want to be super happy with this angle grinder and feel like, yes, I made a great investment here, 6 amp hour or higher. And if it was me telling you what to buy and I said, hey, what are you going to be happy with? 9 amp hour only on this tool. Ryobi may disagree with me on that. A lot of people may disagree on that. But if you want to have a great experience with this tool, the 9 amp hour battery is going to be where it's at. If you want to really run through batteries all the time, the HP 4 amp hour battery will power it, but it won't do as well as the 6 or the 9s. So don't use a 2. Don't use the old 4s that don't have the extra brushless ports on them or the other connections. You can. You might not have a great experience, and that's what this 2 amp hour led me to. Once I kind of got the feel for this thing, I could get some things done and continue cutting, and I didn't have that much of an issue. Although I will tell you, after 8 minutes of constant cutting and pushing and doing different things, I thermally cut out the tool. That's not that big of a deal. That happens all the time. That's where I go back to, if you're going to do consistent long-term cutting or grinding with a battery-operated angle grinder, go corded. I mean, your battery lasts longer corded, right? There's no batteries, but you're in a cord. You don't have to worry about it. They don't overheat. Lots of things are great about corded grinders. Cordless grinders are super awesome for small cuts, little things. If you want to do a ton of rebar cuts, little ones. If you want to go out and just do little angle iron cuts where you can use the tool, let it rest, and go through different things, they're great. If you're going to use it all day, to me, I still go corded. But with that said, here, at the end of that thermal cutout, tool wouldn't run, switch batteries, but either way, it came back after it cooled down, which is great. So if you're out looking for this tool, it's not up to the Milwaukee standards, as you wouldn't expect any Ryobi tool to be, but it does work well. It's going to give you good short bursts of cutting. And if you want to be really happy with it and feel like you have something, make sure you get the higher amp hour batteries that they have out. And I think that's one thing with the Ryobi line that, for me anyway, I always rely on the 6 or the amp hour battery, and sometimes come down to this 4 when I have to get back in my head and say, if I had a Milwaukee, is that what I would use? And that's not the case, because anymore, I live in the 12, the 9, the 8, and the 6 amp hour Milwaukee batteries. And most of the time I don't think about the 5s and below, because I want the performance out of the tool and the runtime. So it's hard to switch to something else and then use smaller batteries and expect the same performance. So this case, hope that helps you out as to what you're looking for. If you are a new guy and looking for an angle grinder and you're just going to use this as a DIY, quick stuff at home, clean up some welds, this thing will take a wire brush and it'll work with it quite well. You're just going to have to watch the pressure you're putting on this, listen to it. If you're really pulling those RPMs down for a long period of time, you might get cutouts. You might see that this tool heats up. That's normal. That's what's going to happen with almost any battery operated angle grinder out there. There are many that are better, and there are some that are worse than this. So no matter how you look at it, Ryobi came out with something here that is better than what they had before, which is great. Just remember, this is in the DIY line. So leave your comments. Always love to hear what you guys think about some of this stuff and what's happening. If you want to see a little bit more on what's inside that night deposit box, watch our stories on YouTube. As I demo this bank, I'm kind of just going through, putting stories up and letting people know what's happening. You'll hear some of the great things. You'll hear a lot of my frustrations, and just kind of see a little bit behind the scenes. As always, guys, we appreciate your time. Please give us a like in this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, have a great day.